Happy Tuesday, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. We have a ton of things to talk about today, so grab a beverage. Hopefully you're wearing something very comfy. Smash that like and let's get started.
If you like what you see, come and get it with me. I know you deserve all you want, 'cause your heart's made of gold, but don't wait till you're old. If you want it, I get you some.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, stand-up comedian and pop culture vulture. Joleen Lunzer here for another episode of No Offense, All Offense, where we take a look at our favorite reality shows, pop culture news, trending topics, entertainment, things we love to hate, things we hate to love. We take a comedic look. I roast it, recap it. Remember, I'm very opinionated, but that does not mean you have to have the same opinions as me. You're welcome to sound off in the live chat here or the comment section if you're on the replay crew, and we can just respectfully agree to disagree.
That's my opinion!
It's just my opinion, you guys. Remember, everything I say is true except for the parts that are false. Everything is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. Allegedly. Okay. So welcome, you guys. Hopefully you're having a great week. I took yesterday off. I took Sunday off. I got lots of rest. So I'm feeling so much better than Friday. Thank you guys for being here and understanding that sometimes a gal has just got to rest. All right. Now, if you want to support the channel further, you know the drill. You can send a super chat while we're live here on YouTube. I'll highlight your comment. We can talk about it. You can send a super thanks on the video if you're watching later. Thank you to those of you who have done that. Or if you want some exclusive content, you can consider joining my YouTube channel or my Patreon. Links for that are in the description of this video. All right, so let's get started, you guys. Smash that like if you haven't already. Appreciate you so very much. I'm setting our super chat goal, and if we hit it today, I'll talk more and more impressions. So if we hit it, if we don't, no biggie. But we got the goal set. Shout out to my mods in the chat. All right. So let's start with let's see, where do I want to start? That's a good question. Let's start with the news. Let's start with James Kennedy. Okay. So James Kennedy has kind of broken his silence since he was arrested for alleged DV against his girlfriend, Allie. We know she has allegedly since moved out. They're definitely on a break. We don't know if it's a permanent break. We don't know how long it's going to be. But James has posted on his social media story, shout out to Steven who sent this to me yesterday, and he sent it to me thinking maybe, you know, sometimes these Bravo celebrities or people will delete the things that they post in their stories. Tom Sandoval, Victoria Lee Robinson, talking to you, okay? But James hasn't. So 14 hours ago, he posted in his stories what appear to be things associated with AA. So it seems that he wants the world to know that he is getting help for his drinking problem, substance abuse, the disease of addiction. And so he posted this in his stories, keep coming back. And we'll see. I'm glad that he is getting, that he has, I mean, I guess by this, he has chosen sobriety again, which I think is a good idea for him as a sober person myself. But we'll see. I mean, obviously we know that with the DV allegations, there is more to be done than just sobriety. There's more there. So hopefully James is getting help for that, because we do not have time for that in 2025. Okay. So go get the help. I would say, in my opinion, you guys know I give you my opinion on stuff. I would say keep it offline. Just keep it offline. Do your thing. Really focus on sobriety. Focus on getting well. And there you go. And just don't use it as any kind of strategy or for any kind of social media acceptance, because it can be very fragile. Sobriety can be very fragile. So Amalish, thank you for the first super chat of the live. Amalish says, I've missed the Lean Team. Happy New Year, y'all. Happy New Year, Amalish. We have missed you too. So good to see you here. Wedgie Queen, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. He needs to get off social media and actually get help. Get the help. Don't post the things. Don't look for anyone else's approval right now. Get serious help. That's just what I think is going to be the best. Okay. But let's hope, good luck, James. So that is what James Kennedy has going on now. Craig, speaking of Bravo celebrities, Craig has finally spoken out after Paige spoke out on her podcast, Giggly Squad, and told us about their breakup. Well, it seems Craig is speaking out, but he is saying that the breakup was unexpected and he was shocked. So we haven't really heard Craig's side of this breakup. It's allegedly supposed to be very amicable and nice, and they're just heading in different paths. And Paige still has the utmost respect and appreciates him and all the good stuff. But according to the New York Post, Craig is breaking a silence on the unexpected Paige DeSorbo split and saying, I was shocked. So pictured here, we have Craig and Paige. Craig Conover has addressed his breakup with Paige DeSorbo, the Southern Charm star 35, made a video on Instagram stories on Tuesday, and finally spoke about their shocking split. Well, if we got a video, you guys, let's just go right to the horse's mouth. Let's go right to Craig, not calling him a horse. No offense, all offense to Teddy Mellencamp. Well, all offense to Teddy Mellencamp. No offense, all offense to Craig. And we're not, comparing you to Teddy's alleged horse trainer lover. All right. But straight from the horse's mouth. Let's see. I don't even follow Craig. I think I follow him on my other accounts. Okay. So is this, let's see if we got some, let me share his Instagram stories and see, because today is Tuesday and they said it was shared on Tuesday. So let's take a listen. So the first thing he shared was something about his candles, or who knows, pillows, candles, something. Okay. Oh, Minneapolis, shout out to my home. Welcome. Oops. So is he he's in the home and garden show, or he's in the home remodeling show at the US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Shout out. He's also working out. Got it. He's eating oysters or something. Okay. He's doing something philanthropic. Awesome. All right. And here, let's get. All right.
Hey, everyone. What's up?
Okay, you guys, put a thumbs up in the chat to make sure that you can hear the audio that is playing out of my computer. Okay. Let's get it.
Oh, figured it's finally time to check in with everyone. Sorry about the delay. This has all been very, very unexpected, to say the least. But I guess life I got to start living again, whatever that looks like, whatever my new normal looks like. I have to start. Gratitude will get you through this. With time comes clarity. All of the advice I'm trying to listen to. But yeah, right before the holidays, I was very shocked. And it's okay. It takes two people to be in a relationship, and you can't control other people. You can only control how you react to it. So remember to be kind to Paige and me and yourselves and all of that good stuff. And I'm still processing everything, which is normal. I mean, 3-year relationship, it's your best friend who you talk to all day, every day, and then they're just gone. So, one day I'll be able to talk more on it. But right now, I just wanted to thank everyone for their kind messages. It has been really nice to read them, and it's just life. I have to take my own advice that I give when I go around and speak at these home shows, that no one's ever not better off after a breakup. But I guess now I got to practice what I preach and believe it, and truly have faith in God that everything happens for a reason. But I love you all, and I'll see everyone on my travels this January. We got a lot coming up.
Okay, did I miss where he said he was shocked? Now he does look he doesn't look happy about it, and obviously expressing that he's got to take his own advice. It happened right before the holidays. It took him longer to react than it did Paige, but I don't know if I heard that him say it was unexpected. Maybe I missed that part. Anna said they clearly both love each other, just wanted different things in life. I hate how everyone turns these things into the who won the breakup. Who is the winner? Kali Ali says, I guess if you're going through a huge breakup, being a pillow producer would be a good occupation. Yeah, lots of pillows to cuddle, cry into, hug, pillow huggers, and all that stuff. So, Chickenhead, thank you so much for the super chat. Chickenhead says, poor Crappy was dumped. Not Crappy. Poor Crappy was dumped. And Chickenhead says, poor Craig, not the other. Okay, so poor Craig, not Crappy. Just auto-corrected to poor Crappy. Poor Crappy Craig. No. He seemed melancholy. He'll be fine. They'll both be fine. They're young. I mean, I really thought Craig was like 50, and that's not because he looks 50. I just assumed every guy in Southern Charm is like 50. But apparently he's 35, which is super young. So tons of time to find love, make babies, all the things. Paige, obviously very young. She's like 30. So it'll be for the best. Okay, he did say it was unexpected because let me play that one more time. And okay.
Hey, everyone. What's up? Oh, figured it's finally time to check in with everyone. Sorry about the delay. This has all been very, very unexpected.
How did I miss that? Jolene, come on. Retention. All right. So very unexpected.
To say the least. But I guess life I got to start living again, whatever that looks
Doing a little self-soothing, rubbing his arm there.
like. Whatever my new normal looks like, I have to start. Gratitude will get you through this. With time comes clarity. All of the advice I'm trying to listen to.
He clearly is reading the positive signs at Kohl's, the encouragement signs. All right.
But yeah, right before the holidays, I was very shocked.
Okay, and he said very shocked. So clearly the first time I was just shocked watching this because I didn't catch any of this. So he said unexpected, and he said he was very shocked.
And it's okay. It takes two people to be in a relationship, and
it does take two people. You could be in a relationship with yourself, but that's not really a partnership. But I guess there's probably a TLC show for that. My strange relationship with myself, where I eat cotton swabs.
You can't control other people. You can only control how you react to it. So remember to be kind.
Can't control Paige. Can't make her stay with you. Can't make her be your girlfriend.
And to Paige and me and yourselves and all of that good stuff. And I'm still processing everything, which is normal. I mean, 3-year relationship. It
does take a while to get out of like a 3-year. I mean, it just depends on the relationship though, really. If you're already checked out, then it might not take as long. But if you were shocked, it's unexpected, it's going to take him a while. It's going to take a while. Alex says, I hope this doesn't become Carl and Lindsay 2.0 where the audience decides to villainize one of them. I hope not either. I mean, I don't think there's any reason to villainize either of these people. They just both wanted different things. And that's true for breakups. Sometimes the other party is shocked and it's unexpected. Sometimes you're like, oh, I didn't think you wanted to get out, but okay. So, I mean, that's one of the scenarios that can happen in a breakup. You both can be ready and just parting ways. It seems like Paige was probably a little more ready and was the leader in the breakup to be like, okay, I think we need to end this. But yeah, there tends to be someone who's feels more shocked than the other.
Your best friend who you talk to all day, every day, and then they're just gone. So
His best friend you talk to all day, every day. And I mean, yeah, that's true.
You know, one day I'll be able to talk more on it. But right now, I just wanted to thank everyone for their kind messages. It has been really nice to read them, and it's just life. You know, I have to take my own advice that I give when I go around and speak at these home shows, that no one's ever not better off after a breakup. But I guess now
no one's not better off after a breakup. That's the advice he gives. So basically saying everyone is better off after a breakup. Do you guys agree with that? Because I don't know if I agree with that. What if that's like, what if you feel, if you get dumped or there's a breakup, but you feel like that person is your person, that was your twin flame, now for lack of a better term, because twin flame, very toxic. But what if you feel like that was my person? You know, and it's just like that. I mean, there's all the love songs written about the unrequited love. So I don't know if I agree with that statement.
I got to practice what I preach and believe it, and truly have faith in God that everything happens for a reason. But I love you all.
Okay. He's like, everything happens for a reason. He's got faith. Chickenhead, thank you for the super chat, saying both at different stages in their life. 100%. And we've seen that. You know, when you look back on this relationship, and we've talked about it, you see that Paige didn't want to move to Charleston. Craig seemed like he wanted to settle down, move into my house. He bought this house. He was kind of, you know, redesigning it for himself, but also for her, heavily with her in mind and her being there. And she didn't want to leave New York. She didn't want to leave her family. It seems like, you know, Paige knows that there's still time for that stuff, and she's just not ready. And Craig is like, I want those things tomorrow. So when you're at those different stages, like Chickenhead says, it's very difficult to keep making it work, because you don't want to feel as though you're wasting either of each other's time. You know, there's the person that wants the marriage and stuff will probably always hope that eventually you'll come around, but that's always going to be a point in contention. And we saw that, and he was questioned a lot by his friends about it. And so I think overall, it's a great thing that they decided to break up. But Craig.
And I'll see everyone on my travels this January. We got
all right. So he's like, was he doing travels this January?
a lot coming up.
He's got a lot coming up. He's making pillows, you guys, pillows. He's got some pillows that could come on. I mean, this could be this could be great for business for both of them. When you're in the limelight, very, you know, obviously hurtful, but clearly he's already talking about, you know, I'll see you guys, I'll be on the road, business. And clearly she's already talking about business because she put it on her podcast. So they both kind of are going to monetize the breakup, because the relationship was monetized on Bravo. So they're definitely going to monetize it. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Kerber says Paige had her own clout. She didn't need a man or anyone for that matter to give her that. No, I don't think Paige would need clout from Craig. Come on. Did you not see the disaster Craig was season 1? Holy crap. Yes. I do remember season 1, Craig. Immortal Geo says, was this one night stand with the S? That the rumor was, I think there was a rumor going around that Paige was with the actor from SNL and SNL. I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. What is his name? Marcelo. Is that his name? Marcelo? So they were just like TikTok rumors, but Marcelo from SNL, he's funny, he's cute. Well, let's look up how old he is. Marcelo Hernandez. He has the same last name as me. Okay. Marcelo Hernandez, he is 27. All right. And they were saying that Reality Blurb was saying sources shares why Craig Conover is struggling after split from Paige DeSorbo and if they're communicating. Plus, Paige faces cheating rumors with Marcelo Hernandez. Now, neither of them have accused each other of cheating, so these are all just rumors. I think people want there to be some kind of scandal, but it might just be a breakup. So this source, according to realityblurb.com, was saying that Craig is struggling with a hard transition after Paige called it quits, or he and Paige called it quits after 3 years of dating, amid rumors of potential infidelity on the part of 32-year-old Summer House cast member, and resurfacing an old interview featuring 35-year-old Southern Charm speaking on their 5-year plan. And insider claims that Craig has been in good spirits in recent days. He's struggling with the end of their relationship and missing, well, he clearly told us he's missing talking to his best friend every day, his former girlfriend. Although Craig is internally upset about the split, he put on a brave face while celebrating New Year's Eve in Colorado. He had a lot of fun. He spent the last few days in Aspen, so this is over the new year, trying to get his mind off of things, the insider claimed. Who's the insider? Who is it? Is it Austin? It's probably Austin. He's trying to be around positive and fun people and is really focused on his businesses. He's focused on pillows and is keeping him busy. As for their current communication, the source noted that Craig and Paige haven't cut out all communication yet. Instead, they do their best to handle their breakup maturely. But he misses her, and the transition has been hard and emotional, like any transition would be. Ultimately, the insider adds that Craig has been in good spirits. He's got a lot of friends rallying for him, but Craig and Paige are adjusting to their outside of their romance life. The hosts of the Snarkbait podcast, so this came out of a podcast called Snarkbait. I like that title. Alleged that Paige has been accused of cheating on Craig months ago. I don't buy that. We have heard from a very reliable source in the New York community that Paige did in fact cheat on Craig very recently. They said December 31st on their episode via Breaking the Rules pod clips on Instagram. This person is a New York-based comedian. That's all I can say. That's like, there's a million New York-based comedians. New York is a huge city for comedians. It's not like a household name, they say. He's like an internet personality. It's not someone I think you guys would ever care about, honestly. Oh, that's not very nice to him. He's watching this going, oh, God, that's not very nice. What? Somebody care about me. And you wouldn't even guess it. Okay. Following the airing of the podcast, Us Weekly noted that many were convinced the man in question was Marcelo Hernandez, 27. And we would care about Marcelo Hernandez, even though I couldn't remember his name. He's a cutie patootie. Okay. Meanwhile, in a resurfaced interview, Craig revealed he was considering going back to college to further his knowledge and take his business to the next level, as he spoke of his future with Paige. I love that Paige and I are on this parallel track of just working hard. I mean, she's like the hardest worker I know, Craig shared with Page 6. I will always be part of Charleston, but I'm starting to love the New York energy and challenges that come with New York. And I think I'll be spending more time up there because a lot of my work for Sewing Down South is on the road now. So as long as I have an airport, I can get to meetings. I do see myself commuting a little more, like half and half. I enjoy staying on the road, but who knows? He added. So all that is just speculative. Oh, is she who? Okay, I know who Sophie Ross is. Okay, so she said, so it's her podcast that said, thank you, Kylie, that there are these Paige cheating rumors. But I don't know. Until one of them confirms it or the person comes out and says, yeah, I was cheating with Paige, I don't think that. I mean, we're already to the January 7th. This came out the 31st of December. I feel like this would be out by now. So I don't know. Cammie says, I gotta love a guy who sews, right? Oh my goodness. Not paid by anyone says, I really think Craig told Paige that he will move to New York so they can do the next step in their relationship, having commitment issues. She freaked out and they called it quits. Not paid by anyone. You've said this before. Yeah. And I think that sounds more likely. Maybe he was, like he said, exploring the idea of moving to New York. And she's like, all right, even that doesn't sound that great. So I need to end this. And that's probably what happened. Izzy says, rumor is Craig was going to move his business to New York so they could be together. When he told Paige, she freaked and finally knew she had to break it off with him. I mean, that sounds more believable to me than with Marcelo Hernandez from from SNL, even though he's cute. Okay. She could also date Michael Longfellow, who is another SNL actor. And he's 30. So he's closer to her age. Not that Marcelo's that much younger. He's 27. And I don't know, Michael Longfellow might still have a girlfriend. Shout out to Michael Longfellow. I just know him and he's lovely. So maybe they could get along and have a good relationship. I'm matchmaking, but he might already have a match. So apologies to Michael Longfellow's girlfriend if you guys are still together, which you probably are. So mazel. But Paige, she's got her pick. I would probably tell her to veer away from comedians, but what do I know? My husband and I met in stand-up comedy, so it worked for me. Shine, thank you for being a member for 4 months. Shine says, hey, Joe, did you watch RHAP Traders 2 this weekend? I didn't. So is it them playing Traders? Because I did not watch that. But I saw a couple people mentioned in my last stream that it was pretty good and that Big Brother personalities were playing. Chicken Head, yes, both. I think I already highlighted that. Both at different stages in their lives. But yeah, we are 2 days from Traders. So Thursday, the episode drops, I believe, 6 p.m. my time, 9 p.m. Eastern. So 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern on Peacock. I'm going to be doing a live watch party where I watch it and you guys watch it where you are. We kind of watch together. I can't obviously play the episode because they will copyright strike me. But then the next day, I'll give my reactions that night. And then the next day I'll do a full recap because Traders season 3 is going to be so good. We have so many Bravo celebrities, so many Big Brother players. Let me know in the comment section after the video post if you guys are interested in me doing to get us kind of excited, a full cast breakdown. Maybe like it's Tuesday, tomorrow night, or tomorrow during the day. We could do that. Probably tomorrow during the day. I know we've kind of went over who's in the cast, but we can do like maybe pregame for Traders season 3 and take a look and just get excited together. So yeah, every Thursday when the episode drops, we'll be doing a watch party over here. And then Friday, I'll be recapping and breaking down Traders season 3. And if you guys haven't watched Traders, definitely make this the season to start. You don't have had to watch any seasons before. We have so much fun. I can't wait to pull my Traders cape out. So, is it today, Callie? Thank you for reminding me. Callie says, are you watching Deal or No Deal Island today? I want to. I have to remember that. Let me star your comments because I do need to remember to watch that because that looked good because Dr. Will and Parvati, so a Big Brother legend and a Survivor legend, and Parvati, who was on last season of Traders season 2, and Dr. Will, who appeared to host a competition on Traders. So yes. Okay, so a lot of you guys are saying a recap, but make sure you put it in the comments after the video post so that I can tally who's interested. And if there's enough interest, we will definitely do that. Okay, now I would like to get to Jessica Walter. Shout out to Jessica Walter, Lala's former podcast co-host, assistant, all the things. She has spoken out on what went down with Lala, and we've wondered, she just abruptly left the Give Them Lala podcast or whatever the heck it's called, and there was really no explanation. And then Lala was on the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast. We talked about this last week. And she was just like, when somebody works for me, bish, okay, they work for me. And she was very cold about it. Didn't give the viewers, didn't give them a reason why Jess left. Didn't give her a goodbye party. Didn't give her anything. She just treated her like she was Walmart. She was like, you're fired. She was just done. And Jess was such a big part of Lala's brand, Lala's podcast, basically in Lala's family. And then she just ripped her from everyone and didn't give any reason and was being really weird about it and super cold, which, that's what happens when you're side. So we got a couple. I'm incorporating some new clips for 2025, you guys. I keep thinking we're still in 2024, and we are most definitely not still in 2024. We are officially in 2025. So Lala was just, she's so thug life. She's just like, thug life. Don't believe everything you read, Alizé and Hennessy. And we're like, okay, Lala. But Jess has taken to her social media and announced her new podcast. So this is Jess's new podcast. It's the Date My podcast, and you guys can go Show her all the love. Follow her. She has a separate Instagram for her podcast. It's at Date My Pod on Instagram. I started following it today, and it's a very interesting concept that she has. And I started listening. I've almost finished with the episode because I wanted to go show Jess some support, because even though Lala won't show you support after all the hard work you did for her, we will show you support, girl. So she has ventured into her own podcast, and here is her explanation of what she'll be talking about, and I like it.
Hello, welcome to the Date My Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Walter, and this is season 1, episode 1 of my very first, very own podcast. Hello, and welcome
Okay, she didn't really
to the Date My Podcast.
Explain it there, but we'll give you an explanation. What she's going to do is, she said she has been kind of like a serial monogamous for a long time, but last year she broke off an engagement to her boyfriend, who she dated for 7 years, I believe. But she said she's always liked the idea of dating. She has always liked that feeling, and trying to connect her friends to date, and like ghost messaging, I think she called it, like pretending to be that person and kind of messaging on the dating apps for her friends and setting people up. So this podcast, every season, there'll be 10 episodes. And in those 10 episodes, she's going to have one person, someone close to her, a family member or friend, and she is going to set them up. Like, they're going to be going on dates on the podcast. They're going to be interviewing friends. And this first season, you guys, Jess is setting up her ex-boyfriend, which I was like, oh my God, I am not that evolved. Maybe like an ex-boyfriend I had a long time ago, but if I just had a somewhat recent breakup, the last thing I would be able to do is hook them up with people. Unless I just was very much done with them, I guess. I was like, oh, that's so evolved, our little Jessica Walter. But so she has her ex on, and she is helping him. Like, she helped him with his dating profile, she said. And so she's helping him find love. So this first episode kind of dives into why they broke up, what he's looking for, kind of why they broke up, what he's looking for in his next relationship. They have a mutual friend on who they interview, and they were speaking on it pretty maturely. But some of the stuff her ex was saying, he was like, I have a Google spreadsheet or something of like what I want in a mate. I'm like, oh, that sounds very sexy. Okay. Maybe you want to keep that one to yourself. Okay. You got Google Docs, sharing it out. Here's what I'm looking for. And he's 40, and Jess, I think, is only like 30, and he wants a fertile myrtle. All right. And someone who's active, because he's a personal trainer, and you can hear all of that in her first episode. But I think it's very interesting concept for a podcast, and it'll be fun to see what she does season after season. So this first season will be focused on her ex and trying to find love for him. So that is Jess's podcast. This is the Date My Podcast, which you can find on Instagram, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and also, I gotta check it on YouTube because I did peep and see, what does this X look like? Okay. Because I had to get a visual, but if it's on YouTube, that means there's going to be videos. Okay. So, but before she got into this first episode, that's when she started spilling as much as she can, because allegedly she's under an NDA, because old Gangsta Lean was not going to let her. She was like, you want to get popped? Don't talk about me. Okay. So here's what Jess has to say about her former job and employer, which would be Lala Kent.
And reaching out to me. And with those connections I made, I think
okay. I'm going to put it on 1.25. Again, you can go check out the Date My Ex podcast everywhere you find podcasts, and the YouTubes and the TikTok. And she has an account on Instagram as well. Okay. So
I want to address who I think so many fun things to get into. I'm very excited to tell you guys sort of what you can expect from this season and the show. But first things first, I want to address who I think are a majority of the people tuning in right now, who I'm very grateful for. And those are my loves. Those are my friends who know me from the last podcast I was on. And I want to, take this moment to address you guys because I seemingly disappeared off that last podcast.
Yep.
And I made so many great connections. And when I was off of that podcast so suddenly, you guys were so supportive and so kind in reaching out to me. And, I miss you guys. And with those connections I made, I think at the very least, you deserve what I can give you as an explanation for why I was suddenly gone. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, feel free to fast forward the next couple minutes, and then I will get into what the show is all about and why I'm so excited for it. First thing I'll say is no, I was not at all expecting to leave. That wasn't the plan. If I'm going to be honest, I thought I'd be at that last job forever. I was like ready to be a lifer. Maybe not in the role I was in, but I'll say within the company I was in. I was like ready to be a lifer. Maybe not in.
Okay, so that's what Lala told us that she wanted. She wants a lifer, which we're like, okay, but most people in Hollywood, they use those kind of jobs as assistant as like a stepping stone to more opportunities, either within that company they're assisting within or other companies. So Jess said she was all in on Give Them Lala, which that's what Lala wanted. So what's the problem?
The role I was in, but I'll say within the company I was in. I invested everything I had professionally in that last job and a lot personally. I was investing in a future that I thought we were all on the same page about. So to make a long story short for now, or as short as I can make it. Basically what happened is I said how I felt about the way some things were being handled. And the response I got to that was, in my opinion, not good. The response says I got. It wasn't. Honestly, I was taken aback. I was heartbroken at those.
What? I'm sorry. That's so hard to believe that. You mean our Lala would not want constructive criticism? Are you sure?
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
She's so open-minded and there for her friends. This is weird.
And the response I got to that was.
So one more time, let's hear what she says.
Or as short as I can make it. Basically what happened is I said how I felt about the way some things were being handled. And the response I got to that was, in my opinion, not good. The response says I got. It wasn't. Honestly, I was taken aback. I was heartbroken at those responses. So I sort of found myself in a position where I felt like I had no other option than to choose to leave. And what I'll say, and this goes for.
Damn. So she is saying that she just, she felt some way about how things were handled over in La La Land over there. Okay. And the response she got, in her opinion, was not good, which I'm sure was like, disengage, ho. You don't want to come for me. I'm trying to feed my baby, bitch. Wipe up my breast milk, allegedly. Okay. And it was so not good that she was taken aback. She was heartbroken, she says, at the responses. And she says, not just response, but responses. So it could have been from White Boy Dread's brother too, because we know Lala loves herself an echo chamber, allegedly. And so she was heartbroken and she found herself in a position where she felt like she had no other option than to leave. So the one time seemingly that we hear about her pushing back on something, Lala does not react well, which shocker, Lala, the one who's just like, you want to get popped? You her like she did Katie Maloney. You don't want it with me. Disengage. And Katie's like, what are you going to do? Beat me up? What are you going to do? Big bad Utah, Salt Lake City lady. What are you going to do? Fight me? So she's heartbroken. Oh, poor Jess. Lala didn't want anyone else's opinion. Let's be honest. All right. And we often wondered over here how long someone like Jess, or even family members were going to be able to just agree with everything Lala did and just be like, oh yeah, this is great, when clearly it's not even working for Lala, but she won't admit that she's wrong in what she's doing. You know, everyone's a hater. It's everyone else's fault. But it's like, no, the way you're moving in friendships and in TV and all this stuff, it's not working for you. And fans are peeping that, Lala. They're picking up on that.
Relationship, right? A professional relationship, a personal relationship, romantic, I sort of found myself in a position where I felt like I had no other option than to choose to leave. And what I'll say, and this goes for any relationship, right? A professional relationship, a personal relationship, romantic, family. I think sometimes we invest all of ourselves into a relationship and we give it our all. And at the end of the day, maybe we don't get in return what we feel we deserve. And what we feel we deserve can be as small as, you don't have my back. And it can be confusing for people who are like me and frustrating, because it's like, all these times I've made you feel safe and I've had your back, and in these moments where I should feel the same, I don't. And it's tough. And that, like I said, in many relationships that happens. And I think just overall in general, you can invest a lot in a relationship, and at the end of the day, it's just not enough. And sometimes that's just the answer. Like, it's just not enough. So sometimes we have to, make the decision. We can choose to stay on a path in life, in this relationship, with this person, with these people who maybe it's not going the way we hope, but we're like, you know what, let's see where it takes us. And that's okay. And that's your choice, because that's your life. Other people may choose to take a step back and say, nothing here is going to change no matter how hard I try, or nothing here is going to veer this way or get on this path or whatever. No matter how hard I try, it's not going to. And nothing's going to feel better for me or change for me unless I change it. Other people may choose to take a step back.
Okay. So she's saying that, she voiced her opinion on something. It wasn't well received, so much so that it was heartbreaking. And we see that with Lala. I mean, she's not good with her words. Like, she is quick to the finger guns, like pop, 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 So she said, I think sometimes we invest all of ourselves into a relationship and we give it our all. So she's implying that she gave it her all. And at the end of the day, maybe we don't get it in return. So Lala definitely did not. She talked the talk, but she didn't walk the walk, according to Jess. And Jess didn't feel like she got what she deserved. And it can be as small as, you don't have my back. Now, I mean, this is so on brand for what we've seen with Lala on Vanderpump Rules, and not having her friends' backs and just exploding for ridiculous reasons and deciding, I'm never talking to Katie Maloney again, and I don't have Ariana's back. And we're just like, well, I'm sorry, what? So this is, again, a pattern of behavior we've seen with Lala, unfortunately. Not a shocker, but Jess says it can be confusing for people who are like me, like her, and frustrating, because it's like, all these times I made you feel safe. I've had your back. And in these moments where I should feel the same, I don't. So she didn't have Jess's back, which, I mean, not a surprise. So Jess obviously has to kind of dance around this with the NDA, but I think she's telling us a lot in what she's saying, and what a lot of us already know about Lala, and what we already expected is either we expected that Jess got another opportunity and Lala was pissed about it, or someone decided to disrupt the echo chamber and ask questions or push back on Lala, and Lala no like that.
And say, nothing here is going to change no matter how hard I try, or nothing here is going to veer this way or get on this path or whatever. No matter how hard I try, it's not going to. And nothing's going to feel better for me or change for me unless I change it myself. A lot of times that deciding to make that change yourself in certain relationships means leaving. And that sucks. It sucks in the moment, especially in a relationship you've put so much of yourself into. So much love and care and time and effort and all of it. But that's life. And I'm a firm believer that if you're making decisions based on goodness and purpose and future and the betterment of yourself and others and the world, and you could say all of the good things, if you're making decisions based on that, you can only be rewarded in the end. And you may be rewarded immediately or further down the road. So that's all I'm going to say on that for now. What I will end that with is, I am so grateful for everything I experienced, for all the opportunities in my last job, for all of the beautiful moments, the loving moments. That doesn't go away. that's not all nothing because of how it ended. And I'm so grateful for that. And I worked hard to be in a lot of those positions. And I won't take that away from myself because I am a hard worker and I will always be a hard worker. That is very important to me. But I'm very grateful for all of that. So moving on, if you are, like I said, if you have no idea what I just talked about, I hope you were able to fast forward through, because now we are talking about the Date My Podcast. Why on earth am I?
Okay. So Jess said a lot without being overly specific where she would break an NDA. But it is sad to hear that she feels as though she invested a lot professionally in this job and she was dismissed merely because her opinion on something was not well received and not welcomed, allegedly. And yeah, again, not, you know, and you feel as though you put so much into this because she's been working for Lala for a long time. We saw her get hired on the show when Lala was still with Randall. We saw Lala, you know, say Jess was in like the room when she gave birth to her daughter. I mean, she was going on trips with her, a real part of the family, if you will, and on her podcast. And then one day gone. And Lala would not address it on her podcast and then addressed it on the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast and was very demeaning, I thought, towards Jess. She just was so cold and it was very on brand for Lala. But Jess, you know, she deserved a voice and the audience deserves to know. Again, if you get rid of someone from your show, people are going to have questions and they're going to want, well, what happened? And Lala couldn't even send her off in a positive way. And just like Jess says, anything that happened at the end doesn't negate the good in the beginning. But Lala isn't evolved enough. She's too selfish, in my opinion, and lacks the self-awareness to see that. Where someone like Jess, like Cammie's saying, handled it with grace and is able to see that this doesn't determine the entirety of the relationship, this one situation. Where Lala's such a hater, and she's so immature and reactionary that she's just like, fuck that bitch. She just worked for me. She want to get popped? Okay, good luck to you, bitch. But you work for me. I am the boss. And didn't even give her a proper goodbye. Didn't even give the fans a proper goodbye. So I'm glad Jess has her own platform and was able to address that. I am not glad that she has a NDA that holds her from really giving us the tea. But I mean, we can see what Lala would have done. And I can only imagine how awful Lala allegedly reacted to Jess with any kind of criticism, whether constructive or pushback. I can just imagine this chick just finger guns in the air, putting her in her place. Because according to the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast, if you guys listen to that, and if you listen where we covered it last week, Lala was really gross in the way she was talking about Jess, and just so it was just like she was just like a corporate asshole, you know, like no love, no anything, just that she's basically, you know, she was basically implying that she's better. She's the boss applesauce, you know, she just wants someone who only wants to assist her for their entire life. Even the host of the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast was like, oh, okay, like that's not going to happen. Witness says NDAs cannot cover illegal activity. She might be in consult with a professional. Yeah. I think it sounds like Jessica wants to move on from this. And she's doing her own thing. She has a great concept for a podcast, arguably much better than Lala's. And something that I think could get picked up if she wanted to kind of sell this and pitch this out. I feel like this definitely is something that could get bought. And I see bigger things in Jessica Walter's future than having to survive in the Lala Kent echo chamber. Okay. Is Nana under an NDA? Nana was just here last week and she is not under an NDA, Jim. And we did a members only last week. And then she was here the week or two before in person. So no, Nana's not under an NDA. But if Nana decides she doesn't want to come live with me anymore, first of all, I won't let her decide that. No, I don't think she'd ever not want to come live. But I would let you guys know. I'd be like, Nana, she told me that I need to, be more punctual. So I had to be like, girl, bye. No, no, you work for me. That's how ridiculous this sounds. Okay. Care Bear says, yeah, 34, which is Lala's age, is too damn old to be acting like a 15-year-old. No. Pamela D says, worst part is Lala will never see the error of her ways because she only surrounds herself with yes people. Alex says, the one smart thing Schwartz ever said was, what the hell is give them Lala? And now Lala is singing Schwartz's praises every chance she gets. So, okay. Coconut 47 says, I'll be listening and giving 5-star reviews for Jess. I would love to see her surpass anything Lala does. Here's the thing. If you want to support Jess and you want to be the antithesis of what Lala is being, go subscribe to Jess's podcast. Subscribe to her YouTube channel. Like Coconut saying, give her a good rating. Reviews help so much. And when podcasts are just starting, those reviews really, really help. And obviously only 5-star. And, the more people that follow the podcast, encouraging comments, follow them on social media. I mean, that is a great way to counteract Lala's negativity. So where Lala fails in being empowering women who have helped her, we will pick it up and we will do our work to support Jessica Walter, because I think this is a fun idea for a podcast. And the first episode's pretty good. Other than her ex he's not like my favorite, I'll be honest. Maybe I'll warm up to him, but he's a little, that's just my preference. I'm just like, okay, yeah, you seem nice. Kind of, not really, sort of. But maybe in the next couple episodes, I'll warm up to it, or it'll just be funny watching him date. And if he keeps, not a great attitude, maybe fail. But it looks like he does have some friends around that are giving him some help and some advice. Thank you, Brandy, for the super sticker. I appreciate that. And thank you, Brandy, for the super chat. Brandy says, one of my foster kittens got adopted today. Brandy, that is amazing. Good news. After our 16-year-old Pit passed away last night. I'm so sorry to hear about the passing of your sweet fur baby. Oh my gosh. Sending you all the love, you guys. Put your hearts in the chat for Brandy. That is the worst. It's just the worst when our fur babies cross over the Rainbow Bridge. And sending you all the love. So again, you guys, her podcast is called let me pull it up here for you. It's the Date My Podcast. And if you want to find it on Instagram, it's at Date My Pod, DATEMYPOD. And you can support Jess that way. Let me pull up a link for you guys to Date My Pod. Okay. Here is their Instagram where you can find, oh no, that's a different one. Here, let me find it on my Instagram and give it to you guys. Date My Pod. There it is. And she's already jumped up to 534 followers. When I followed this morning, I think Jess had 300 and some. So if you want to be the antithesis of a Lala, you can go, if you choose, and follow her here on Instagram. And even if you don't have Instagram, you can go to this link, and there is like a link tree in her bio, and you will see a link to where you can, all the places you can listen to her podcast. She said, I think she's getting it. It'll be on Spotify soon, but it's not yet on Spotify. So it's on Apple Podcasts and one other platform. And YouTube, obviously. Let's see if we can find the channel here. Let's just be really positive and helpful and find Jessica's YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Date My Podcast with Jessica Walter. Okay. We found it. And subscribe. And here is her YouTube channel, since we are on YouTube, where you can go find her videos and all of that. Let me make sure I subscribed right now as I'm saying it. So the link is here, you guys, at Date My Pod on YouTube as well. And I subscribed. So go, Jess. Hopefully you have so much success with this, and we'll keep an eye on the podcast and be listening, because I think it's a really fun idea. And she's already very organized. She's got seasons. She already knows what's going to be going on in her seasons. And I'm like, oh, damn, that is very good. And this first season is Date My Ex. So next it could be like date my mom, date my dad, date my sister, date my cousin, date my best friend. But as you can see here, the Date My podcast. When it says, right on, Jolene, if you say so, I'm going to try her. Yeah, we can just try it. If not, you can just follow and show her some love. And, when you're just starting off something, Lala could have really, if that's the shitty thing that pisses me off about Lala is that if you had someone who was a really good employee to you and there was only allegedly maybe one instance where, you just didn't like any pushback from her, Lala has a platform and people where she could really help Jess in the future, someone who allegedly, according to her, really helped her and someone she loved. And she could easily shout out Jess's podcast a few times and she could have thousands of people and help her kind of shoot up in the ranks of, podcasts and all the things. But she won't, which is just so fucking shitty. I don't like people like that. You really could. It's not like, what did she do? Did she, it doesn't sound like she did anything that is so terrible and unforgivable. It sounds like it was a bad disagreement. You overreacted, which you do, which we see, but you could have really helped this young woman, the same way you were helped by people, and you could have used your platform. She worked for you for so long, and you're just going to not give her any love, not give her any support. You could use your platform to uplift and help other women who are coming up, because you yourself know how hard it is to come up. You had to do BJs for PJs and have sex with no neck Randall Emmett. Hollywood is hard. Okay. Randall might not be hard, but Hollywood is hard. So, the scary alleys and streets you got to go down to try to make it in the entertainment business, and you could have helped her. You could have helped her. Kristen said, the first thing I thought when I read what Jess said about leaving is fame for me, not for thee. Sounds exactly like Lala. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it sucks because she has a platform where she really could have helped Jess. But again, she's going to let that one moment at the end define the entire relationship and forget everything else that this woman did for her. And it's just, unfortunate and gross, Lala. Okay. It's not very chic. And we were hoping that you're going to be so chic.
The My Hand in Yours tumblers.
It keeps things hot and cold. Amazing.
We have the My Hand in Yours license plate holder.
Wow. Jamie, let me just say, that is the chicest wind chime I have ever.
Thank you, darling.
Stop it right now. It's very chic. So chic. Really very chic.
All right. So chic. We would have loved for her to be so chic. We would love the chicness. All right. Let's celebrate another woman who killed it, you guys. The Golden Globes. I know they were Sunday and we're at Tuesday, but I thought the Golden Globes were so freaking good. Okay. Shout out to Impact. I took this off of their Instagram site, but Nikki Glaser was the host. Shout out to Women in Comedy. And Nikki Glaser made history as the first ever, which is crazy, solo host of the Golden Globes. So it was the 82nd Golden Globes this past Sunday. Her 10-minute opening monologue has already received immense praise from audiences online. I thought she killed it. I thought the way Paramount produced this, the way they directed it, I love the little segments. The only thing that was a little creepy is what I think Seth Rogen mentioned is them when they were doing those shots of the announcers, the actors who were announcing winners and stuff, and it was very close up of them. I'm like, we could back up a little bit because I feel like they were like up Sharon Stone's nostrils and we didn't need all of that. But I did like getting that view of the people at the Golden Globes, of being almost a part of it rather than them talking to us from the stage. It almost felt like you were more a part of it. So I liked that they took risks and had different angles and things. I thought that was very interesting. But I just thought Nikki Glaser did so freaking well. I was so proud of her. And, she kills it at the roast. She kills it at a lot of things, but she looked fantastic. Being the first solo host, so much pressure on you because the whole women ain't funny thing just follows us comedians everywhere we freaking go. We always have to prove to some unfunny man that we're funny. And clearly Nikki Glazer, she's been doing this a long time and she's super, super funny and she killed it. So despite having the pressure on, when she even had her little musical segment with the Wicked song Popular, and she used Popular, I thought it was so funny. And so if you missed her 10-minute monologue, I'll tell you, I've been doing comedy so long now that me laughing out loud at stand-up comedy, I think if you ask any comedian this, it doesn't happen as much as before I was a comedian, because you've kind of seen behind the curtain, how the Arby's is made, all the little secrets. So I had genuine laugh out loud moments with Nikki Glazer's with her monologue, and I feel like we haven't seen a really strong funny host like this since Ricky Gervais. And what we all loved, I think, about Ricky Gervais is the fact that he goes after the celebrities and like takes the piss out of them, is that the saying? And he just roasts them up, and all their self-importance out the door as he drinks a glass of beer and just says he doesn't want to be there. And that, to me, I always think is very funny. And Nikki, I feel like she's the first host I've seen of the Golden Globes where I was like, oh shit, she is killing it. And this is actually genuinely funny and something, a different. And I feel like her own voice, her own take on it. So I loved it. Take the piss. Yeah. Very Love Island of me. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Naomi. I know I'm going to take that as a compliment. Even though just like a fact, I think that is, but it's anything comparing me to Love Island is great. So here is 2 of the jokes. I'm going to play them, that really had me laughing out loud. They were very unexpected. And not, because I remember wasn't Joe Coy, didn't he host last year? Oh my goodness. And you never want to, that's a tough job. And I think his was last minute, but this was very different. Nikki came prepared. She came ready. Where Joe Coy, I was like, this is interesting. So here are a couple of Nikki's best bits.
Wicked, queer, night bitch. These are not just words Ben Affleck yells after he orgasms. These are some of the incredible movies nominated tonight. The Bear, The Penguin, Baby Reindeer. These are not just things found in RFK's freezer. These are TV shows nominated tonight.
Wicked, night bitch, whatever the other, queer. These are not just things that Ben Affleck yells when he orgasms. And that joke is so freaking funny. I guess she was running these bits at the Comedy Store, and deciding what to keep and what not to keep. So it would have been really fun to see her in the process of this, which is what a lot of stand-up comedians do. Once you know you're going to get this gig, you're going to hit all the clubs you can and run this material and see what gets laughs and what doesn't get laughs, and then keep what you think works. But that was just, I was like, I already played that so many times. And the RFK Jr. with the baby reindeer and I'll be honest, I wasn't really excited about the Golden Globes because I really have not watched hardly any of the movies. Where I was like, night bitch, what's that? I last night I watched The Substance because Demi Moore, which we'll talk about, had a big win. And I'm like, I got to watch The Substance. And we'll be covering it today on my other channel I do with my friend Busy Blue. Shout out to Busy Blue on our Sip and Key channel. So if one of my mods doesn't mind dropping that, I don't know if Busy's made the live yet, but it'll be later today. We'll be talking about The Substance, which is the movie that stars Demi Moore, Dennis Quaid, and then I forget the other actress's name, but very disturbing movie. And we'll be breaking it down over on Sip and Key, but I didn't even know those were like, I was like, what? Those are, Wicked, obviously I knew, but I still haven't even seen Wicked. So those were 2. And then here's another one, another Nikki Glazer bit that I thought was so funny. And we just got done talking about these 2 recently. So let me play this here for you guys. And hopefully Paramount Plus isn't like, we're going to strike you because we're just playing a little clip, Paramount. Calm your boner. All right. She also ripped on Peacock, the network, which is funny.
Selena Gomez is here. Double nominee tonight for Amelia Perez and Only Murders. And she's here tonight with her new fiance, Benny Blanco. Yes. And Benny Blanco is here because of the genie who granted him that wish. Man, lucky guy.
I'm sorry. That shit is so funny. There were so many. I wish I could play the whole 10-minute monologue, but we've tried that before and I got struck. So I won't play any more of that. But isn't that the truth about Benny Blanco? There was a genie in a bottle. He had his Aladdin moment, and that was one of his wishes. It had to have been, because every day I wake up and I think, Benny Blanco and Selena Gomez. Wow. Men really do have it easier. Wow. That's crazy. That to me is just not so crazy. So we saw a lot of big wins. Speaking of Demi Moore and Substance, Demi won her first award she has ever won in her 45-year career as an actress. And this was so interesting to me because I just started watching, I haven't finished it, but I finished most of it, the documentary that came out about the Brat Pack. I think it's on Hulu is where I was watching it. And Andrew McCarthy, that's his name, right? He decided to dive into this Brat Pack label that got put on like Demi Moore, Rob Lowe, Emilio Estevez, Judd, what's his name? From Breakfast Club, Ali Sheedy, some say Molly Ringwald, and how that affected their careers, how they interpreted that. Because apparently it was an article that was written by a guy at, I think maybe New York Magazine or New York Times, and he was interviewing Emilio Estevez. Emilio Estevez was like, hey, you want to meet some of my friends? And had him kind of tag along with Rob Lowe and others. And then this journalist came up with the title for them being Brat Pack, based off the Rat Pack. And those of you who are, old, elder millennials, boomers, Gen X, all too well about the Brat Pack. But I didn't know that this had such a negative connotation to the actors. And a lot of them feel as though this had a negative impact on their careers. And in this label given by this journalist at the time, even like dictated if they'd work with each other again. And a lot of them tried to stay away from each other because they didn't want to be in this like pack of young Hollywood brats, if you will. Where Demi, when he interviewed Demi in this documentary, because she was a part of the Brat Pack, pretty much everyone in St. Elmo's Fire, that movie, and The Breakfast Club, most of them are considered in the Brat Pack. And Demi looked at it, she kind of had a different perspective all these years later, saying, why did we ever give it power and make it negative? Where it could be seen as positive. And, Demi has obviously succeeded past that label. And I've enjoyed Demi Moore for a long time, but she won a Golden Globe for her role in Substance. And she gave, or The Substance, the movie, and she gave a very moving speech for her acceptance speech of believing in herself and feeling as though this, for a long time, she felt as though this wasn't ever going to be something that she could do, that was for her, getting recognized in her industry, in her art form. She was told by a producer early on in her career called a popcorn actress. Probably just an actress that would be in movies people might see in theaters, but nothing anyone took seriously. Maybe a few summer blockbusters. And I think this was, this is similar to Jessica Lange. Jessica Lange spoke, and Jessica Lange is like one of my favorite actresses of all time. She's also Minnesotan, so I am a little partial, but she is amazing. She spoke about how, the industry really didn't take her seriously either. And they just saw her as like the pretty face that was going to be there, just like young and pretty and disposable. And she went on to win an Oscar herself. She went on to win many awards and just be a critically acclaimed actress. Jessica Lange is just one of the best ever to do it. And so I thought of Jessica Lange during Demi Moore's speech. And I thought of a lot of us who, when labels are put on us very early in our careers or in our life or whatever we're trying to do, how, when you let yourself believe that, then it comes to fruition. At the time, it's just someone's opinion. It's just a label. Granted, it could be by a gatekeeper, which in Demi's case, yeah, like a big producer telling her she's just a popcorn actress. In a lot of ways, the entertainment business is all about what people think of you and how you look and your image. So if your image now becomes that that's what you are, that's all you'll ever be. But the fact that she persevered and she kept fighting against that, I think was like, an important lesson that everyone can take, that if someone puts a label on you, you don't have to accept that label and you can do whatever the hell you want to do. And then this movie, The Substance, dives deeper into this idea, especially about women in Hollywood and women in entertainment and how long you're good and your worth being based on your beauty and your youth and your fertility and all these things that are, also not just in the entertainment industry, but when it comes to women, that unfortunately is our reality in the world. That's what we see a lot of times, is that we don't celebrate women as they age. We celebrate men. We talked about that a million times, all the silver foxes, but there's not a saying for women to describe them getting better as they're older. You have like an old hag, you got the cougars and stuff, but there's like, a older woman chasing, a younger guy. But there's no, like we always hear men get, they get better with age, and women, there's like, women don't get better. Women freaking shrivel up and die and should go hide. And so this movie kind of looks at that. It is a psychological thriller, suspense, horror, all the things I'll talk about later on Sip and Key. And it was disturbing. Like, it's still sitting with me. But yeah, like Love Pink is saying, Demi has put on some incredible performances over her career. And despite having, what you might think is pretty privileged to get in Hollywood as it is, it can also hinder you in that you might want to go to that next level of acting or get certain parts or meatier parts, or at the, back in the day, you'd want to do like an indie film or something, a little more that you have to really show your acting chops. And they were just like, no, you're just the popcorn actress. You're just the pretty lady. So it also can be hindering. So it's not all great for pretty people. All right. So I see you, pretty people. And I understand that it's, some things might come easier and more doors might be open, but there's also doors that could be closed because you're not necessarily taken seriously and able to explore whether it's entertainment or any business. We've seen that happen with a lot of women and even men, oh, just a pretty face, not smart, can't do this, not capable. And to me, it was fun to watch her win. And the cutest thing was her freaking daughters, of the video of them celebrating her went viral, and they're all in their comfy sitting in the living room. And I think her grandbaby's there too. And she wins and they jump up because she was not expecting this, because she was up against, some really hard hitters and really good actresses. Irrelevant Photon says, younger men love older women. Trust me. Oh, I know. My husband Chill's 4 years younger. So I get it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they're money movies as opposed to like the art movies, the ones that your industry, the ones that are like, critically acclaimed, the ones that prove that you're like a real actress. You're not just a popcorn actress. You're not just a pretty face. So it was so fun to watch Demi have that moment and speak to, aging in any industry or believing someone's label of you and taking that and letting that define your future. And the only one that can define your future is you. So it was really quite beautiful. And then we had a lot of actors. Wicked won a Golden Globe. Colin Farrell, is that his name? Colin Farrell won, which I didn't think he should win for that. I thought it should have been that either Richard Gadd from Baby Reindeer, or one of the or the dad from Menendez. Oh my God, he was so good. But again, I didn't see the Penguin that Colin Farrell won for, so whatever. And then a lot of people from the FX series Shogun won. Jodie Foster won for the Night Country show on HBO, which I did watch. Me and Hype, my husband Shell, was so good. Adrian Brody won. He too expressed, hashtag not just women. He too expressed that he had been nominated before and didn't win and didn't think this was ever going to be a reality for him. But he was in some movie called The disturbance, or what was it called, you guys? Something. Again, I gotta sit down and watch these movies. And apparently it's a very long film, and one that they had to fight for like 7 years to get made, and it won a lot of awards. And then yes, Hacks won a ton of awards last night, so that was really fun to see, especially seeing women in comedy win. Is it Disturbia? Is that what it's called, or something? Twisted Life. Thank you for that. And then also the Carla Sofia Gascon is the first out transgender woman to be nominated in a film category, gave a meaningful speech about being yourself in the face of adversity. So when the Amelia Perez won one of its Golden Globes, she then spoke. The director, I think, was like, okay, you speak now. And she gave a powerful message. So there was a lot of, groundbreaking moments. And this was a funny, now that I've seen The Substance, because I watched it after I watched the Golden Globes, to see this interaction that Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley had. Now I was like, oh, I get it. I get the joke, because they both were on stage at the time. And if you've seen The Substance, you would know why. They're not supposed to both be up there at the same time. So you're supposed to respect the balance, and portrayed their characters from The Substance on stage. And that was a cool moment. And again, a lot of people talking about Nikki Glazer's excellent performance as a host. She'll definitely be asked back. I don't see why. I would already book her for next year. I'd be like, Nikki, let's go. You got next year too. So Demi Moore being recognized again after winning Best Actress in a Musical Comedy Film for The Substance. Demi Moore delivered a powerful speech about self-worth and being recognized. I've been doing this for 45 years, and this is the first time I've ever won anything as an actor, which is crazy to me that it's taken this long. Yoko Shimada was the first ever Asian woman to win a Golden Globe. Won in 1981 for her portrayal of Mariko in Shogun. Now, over 4 decades later, Anna Sawai has also won a Golden Globe for her portrayal of the same character. So there were lots of record-breaking nights. Let's see what this one is. Oh, Zoe Saldana. She gave it very emotional. She had a big win. Her mom was there. I'm a sucker if your mom is there, because I would have Nana there. Zoe Saldana made history as the first Dominican-American to win an award for Best Supporting Actress in a Motion Picture. She was also the first Dominican-American to ever be nominated in the category. I think we had a first Brazilian. Yes, right here. This was an interesting story, because Fernanda Torres made history as the first Brazilian to win Best Actress in a Motion Picture Drama for I'm Still Here. Again, haven't seen it, so sorry. And then her own mother, Fernanda, was also made history in 1999 as the first Brazilian. So her mom was the first Brazilian to be nominated in the same category, and she's the first Brazilian to be nominated and win, which is a really fun full circle moment. Also could be a Nepo baby moment, but it just seemed fun. And then Michelle Yeoh, who, while presenting an award, reacted to fans who've said that she is serving mother and slaying Boots' house down. And that they made the funny joke that they didn't know what these meant, because he's called Zaddy and she's slaying and Boots down and all the things. So a big night for quite a few people and a lot of women. So shout out. Also, everybody I loved the segment they did counting like who was thanked, like spouses, and then it was like God 0. Like nobody, it was definitely not like a sports event where the athletes are always thanking God. And Nikki Glazer made a joke, of course, not in a godless city like this. So that was a fun segment as they were tallying who got thanked the most in the speeches. I loved that. And it was just I loved the little segments they did. I thought everything went really smoothly and was very entertaining for what, a lot of times award shows can be very boring and not fun to watch at all. But I feel like this year, the Golden Globes really killed it. And Nikki Glazer is a big reason for that. So April says, I'm Still Here is so good, Jolene. Ugh, I got to watch all of it. Oh, The Brutalist. Thank you, Cami. Yes. So Adrian Brody's movie is called The Brutalist. And The Brutalist took home a lot of Golden Globes last night as well. So it seems like also not only some Nepo baby vibes, but everyone, if you notice, everyone who accepted an award was repped by CAA. And that's like one of the biggest, if not the biggest agencies to be repped by in Hollywood. But I'm like, not Brillstein, not any of the other big names I didn't see. So CAA definitely has got so much pull because everyone, and it was just something I was paying attention to. And I was telling my husband, Sean, I'm like, everyone is CAA. I haven't heard any other, I don't remember hearing any other management agency mentioned, but CAA. So that's just interesting. So we all got to get rep by CAA. Okay. They announced it already. They had to because she killed it. She did so freaking good. I was so happy to celebrate a woman comedian up there just killing it and like laughing out loud, you know, because the moment I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch these monologues. I'm going to have an open mind. I'm not going to be judgy comedian. I'm just going to watch. And I had so much fun watching Nikki Glaser. She was so present in the moment. It was so smart, quick, clever. She looked fantastic. She had a ton of outfit changes, which I loved. And she had a good way of like roasting them, but not to the point where it was uncomfortable. Cause you kind of, you know, there's a fine line between that. And also she showed a lot of humility in herself, a little like self-deprecating humor, which I love. And when she told that one guy who's in like Twister that you've started this and Twister and that, and also in my head when I'm having sex with my boyfriend, and then she said, see you tonight. I mean, that was just so funny. So funny. Yes, and shout out to Ariana for holding space for Cynthia's finger. Nikki Glaser was like, Ariana, hold my finger. And Ariana's like, because, you know, we have that interesting relationship with the Wicked actresses where they're always holding each other's fingers, not pulling it, because that would be a dad joke. That would be what your dad would be doing. So definitely glad I watched the Golden Globes. I didn't watch them in real time because I was watching my Minnesota Vikings lose to the Detroit Lions. So congratulations to the Detroit Lions and all of the lean teamers here who are Lions fans. That was a rough game. We had friends over. We were eating, having a good time, and then we're like, what the hell is going on? So the Vikings are still in the playoffs. You know, sporty Jolene still happy. The Vikings are in the playoffs, but we got to do better. Okay. We need Sam Darnold to show up. That was like his first time that he had been in a game that big. All right. And they were just all over our lovely Justin Jefferson. And hopefully we learn some valuable lessons that we'll take with us next Monday when we play the Rams in Los Angeles, who we lost to this season. But there was a very critical face mask call that was not called. So hopefully we'll correct our wrongs. But shout out to Detroit. You guys deserved it. You killed it. There were some iffy calls, but that happens in games. You know, sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't. But there was a lot of ways in which the Vikings in the red zone, as they say on the channels, we gotta get to business in the red zone. We had a lot of opportunities that were missed. So Kylie said that was a very sad game to watch. Vikings always choke with. Hello, it's like the trauma of us Minnesotans. We carry that with our sports teams for some reason. You know, for some strange reason, we can't stop our wheezing, and for some strange reason, when we get to these like critical moments that can be life changing and game changing and take us to this next level, we choke. And it's just like, oh, and now we got Big Leg Bill, our kicker, Will. I call him Big Leg Bill. Just, I mean, granted, it was a far kick, but you can just see the confidence leaving their faces. And I'm like, no, because if Minnesotans will remember 2 words, Gary Anderson. He was another kicker who, it just a heartbreaking misses. So we'll see. Anna says there were iffy calls across all the games that day. You know what was a really good game I watched? I can't believe I'm talking so much NFL, but who knew I'd become such a fan? Was the Bears versus the Packers. That was a good freaking game down to the end, and their kicker won the game for them. So shout out to the Bears. But I was actually rooting for the Packers because one of my besties, Nicole, is a big Packer fan. So I was like, I want this for Nicole. But Chel's like, what? You can't cheer for the Packers in this house. I'm like, well, when we're not playing them, I can. But that was a very exciting, close game. I was hoping at least the Vikings-Lions game would be as close as that, but no dice. No dice. Witnesses, how many times was his butt patted on the field? What's the over-under on that? That's, you know what? Maybe they're not patting Big Leg Bill's butt enough, and he doesn't feel the support. Okay. Everyone's tripping over the Steelers versus the Ravens game coming up. Yeah, I'm not tripping over it, but that's going to be a big too. I'm still, the fact that I'm even watching other teams coming off of someone who's like, I'm not really into the NFL. I don't really care. It means that I'm starting to really, God help me, I'm starting to really like football. And I don't know where this girl came from, but I'm definitely enjoying it. So you guys, there is our no offense, all offense for today. Make sure you're subbed to my other Sip and Key channel. If you want to see us cover the substance later today, I'll be back tomorrow at 11:30. And before, we have a new Salt Lake City and Beverly Hills this week. So I'll be covering those. So a good big week. And then, oh my God, Traders is in 2 days. I get like nervous tummy every time I think about it. But you guys have been amazing and awesome. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Shout out to all my super chatters, Amalesh Chicken Head. Thank you, Callie, for reminding me about Deal or No Deal Island. Brandy, thank you so much for the super chats. Appreciate that. And let's just do a nice little cleanse before we leave here, you guys, with a little 1999 Woodstock Gavin Rossdale's Glycerine Cleanse. And I'm pregnant. All right, you guys, always remember to enjoy yourself because it's later than you think. Bye.
If you like what you see.